coordinated at all to be able to glide around a ring and have any kind of footwork at all. He can't have any speed on his punches. He's just a big, same as wrestling. He's a big-ass guy that is just strong. That's it.
What do they call it? Like a big ogre.
Yeah, like a big doofus ogre or something like that.
A big doofus.
No, big doofus. I'm bringing that word back. Remember that? Remember doofus back in the 80s?
I remember that, baby.
You're a doofus. You got cooties. I'm telling you.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was the only problem that I had with that match. The big goofy knockout punch. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever.
No good.
Goofy.
But yeah, the match itself before that was actually decent, I think. Because there was that spot where Big Show tried to do the avalanche, the splash in the corner on Henry, and he caught him in midair,
right.
which was cool, you know, and he picked him up for a body slam and held him up for a while before Jericho drop kicked him, you know. It was good.
Right. And the crowd was hot, man, to start the pay-per-view.
They hated Henry, though.
Yeah, it was weird, the people that they hated and loved, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Henry made sense just because he is the king of big doofuses, so and Canada doesn't screw around. If they don't like something, they let you know about it, you know what I mean, which we'll talk about in the main event, the semi-main event.
If you're a doofus, Canada's going to let you know about it, folks.
You're a doofus.
All right, you have a legacy interview in here, which I don't remember much about.
It was good. Let's just call it that. It was good.
I do. Cody Rhodes shined in that. Yeah.
Cody Rhodes carried it for the first minute, and then DiBiase capped it off with a little glow stick joke, which was good. It was a good interview. I thought, especially considering what they were doing with the match. If you add that all up, I mean, Legacy comes off looking pretty damn good.
Well, the glow stick thing was awesome, where they said, you know, it's like you get those glow sticks, you crack them, and then they burn out over time. You know what I mean? I mean, that was a good line. You know
and he said, yeah, that's exactly what happened to DX. They're old and they're burnt out and blah, 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 and we're finishing them tonight. It was good.
All right. So that was a good segment. That led us into Kofi Kingston defeated The Miz to retain. The interesting thing is they pulled Ziggler and Morrison off the pay-per-view, and then
that's right.
God, and not only that, but they pulled that match, and neither The Miz or Kofi Kingston were shown on Raw the previous week when Bob Barker was the host. You know what I mean? So they just added this. Yeah, neither of them were on that show. So it was just, it was kind of thrown in there, no build, no nothing.
Well, there was a little build. There was a little bit. When The Miz debuted with the tights and all that, he said his goal was to be the U.S. champion. He was going to take it from Kofi. I mean, so they started the build, but then they just rushed the pay-per-view payoff, which wasn't even a payoff. I mean, they kept it going, though, which we'll talk about on Raw. So, you know, but still, I don't know why did they take, did we ever find out why they took Ziggler and Morrison off the card?
I guess they're going to do it on the next pay-per-view at Hell in a Cell. Obviously not in the cell, but whatever. Maybe more build over on SmackDown tonight. Give us some more build, and then
who knows?
See what happens at the tapings tonight. But so we had this. This ended with Trouble in Paradise, which is Kofi Kingston's finisher, and that was that. Then we led into the Legacy defeated DX Clean, which I like. You know what I mean? As the Legacy are two of your young guys, two of your guys that you're building up. You've got them alongside Randy Orton right now, right? So you're getting huge Raw being a faction alongside probably Raw's biggest heel, but one of their biggest stars. So you know what I mean?
If you wanted to nitpick, you could say, well, they had to have first HBK knocked out so they could double team Triple H. Then they had to have him knocked out so they could double team HBK for the finish. But I'm not going to nitpick. I thought they did it the right. That was a good match. It was a good finish. It made Legacy look good, and the promo was good. And Legacy's you got elevated, I think, a little bit with that. So no
doubt. No doubt. Well, you put him alongside Randy Orton, who's like I said, Raw's top heel, and then you've got Shawn and Triple H that are in there as well, so you're keeping them in the mix with these big main event guys, you know what I mean? And
definitely.
That's how you get rub on people, and that's how you build new stars. So
I have one big beef with the match.
Yeah.
One big-ass beef, okay?
Beef? What?
And that was Triple H, his knockout thing. The reason he was knocked out for 10 minutes and crawling down the ramp 10 minutes later trying to make it to the ring was because he got hit in the head with a plastic cooler. A beer cooler. That's what knocked him out for 10 minutes and had him crawling, trying to get back. Come on, you could have hit him with anything else.
That's right. Yeah, because they did that backstage segment where they knocked over the table. Yeah.
It's like when they use the big plastic trash cans instead of the big Pepsi can looking ones. I mean, at least they look like they might hurt, if you don't know they're soft and everything. But a big plastic trash can and a plastic cooler, get out of here.
I didn't even think about that until honestly just brought it up. But you're right. We the finish came where one of them had Rhodes had a figure 4 leg lock applied and
over the post.
Over the post on the Shawn Michaels,
which was Bret Hart's old move, by the way. He invented that.
And they brought that up on commentary as well.
Oh, they did.
During the match. So and then DiBiase had the $1 Million Dream on Triple H,
at the same
right?
time. No. At the same time, he had it on Shawn Michaels, and Triple H was crawling, trying to make it to the ring, and you thought he was going to make it in time, but HBK tapped anyway. The other big thing about this match, I know we're trying to do this quick, but the crowd. You have to talk about the crowd. You screwed Bret and getting on Triple H, and Triple H said I wasn't here, it was all his fault, and all that stuff. Remember?
Oh yeah, at the beginning when they did the normal spiel. Yeah, that was good, man. That was a
crowd. Let them have it, man. It's 12 years now, and they're still. I mean, I was saying that a lot, but I mean, obviously it's because WWE doesn't let it go. I mean, Christ, the last time they were in Montreal, which was it Montreal? It was recent. They were in Canada, and they had Sergeant Slaughter hosting, and he faked that Bret Hart was coming out. Remember, he had the music playing and everything.
Right.
They don't let it go, so the fans ain't gonna let it go if you don't let it go. So.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, by the end of that match, I'm not going to say, I mean, obviously everybody in that arena wasn't cheering for Shawn, but when it was over, I mean, towards the end of that match, Shawn had won people over. They booed the shit out of him when he first came out, and by the end of that match, he was getting more cheers than boos. You know what I mean?
It was definitely mixed by the end, and on Raw in Toronto, they tried to get on him again. You didn't see it, but because you were into your Bills the game at that time.
Hey, you're gonna have to. I'll tell you what. You're gonna have to help me out with Monday Night Raw. I was. But
no, they were doing the "You Screwed Bret" all over Shawn again, and then by the end they were chanting HBK, HBK. I mean, the whole arena was chanting HBK. So he won them over. But that's not Montreal. That's Toronto. So
we had a backstage Randy Orton interview. This is real good where he used that, what's the word I'm looking for, tone of voice, that real low voice, somber, that real somber voice. And then it made for a really cool video package last night to open up Monday Night Raw where they used bits and pieces of that segment. So that was a really well done segment. Good stuff.
It was actually somewhat comical. I mean, he was cool as a cucumber, but also seemed to be like off in a distant mindset, and his eyes look weird. I mean, he always has that slow eye thing, but he even had more. And then he tells Josh to pull up a seat and now go ahead and ask your question. He asks it. Orton answers it, and then he asks him another one. And Orton's like, "Hey, you told me you were going to do one thing, and you did another. You asked me another question." He said, and Cena said he was going to do one thing. He said he was not going to say I quit, and I say I'm going to make him do another. I say I'm going to make him quit. It was good.
That was real good, man. I mean, you got to give Randy Orton props. You know what I mean?
I do.
Facial expressions, promos, wrestling. You know what I mean? I mean, he's come a long, long way.
Hulk Hogan was marking out over him in the pre-show. If you were listening,
Yeah, if you guys didn't listen to that pre-show,
that was good.
You know what the thing is, I mean, we were talking right before we came on the air, and I said, man, the chat, not looking too good.
Where is everybody,
and then you look at it now, it's like you look at it 10 minutes after 7, you know what I mean, and the chat is packed.
You first told me when I first started coming on, I guess more regularly or full-time or whatever, I was every week I'd get worried. I'm like, dude, what happened to your listeners, man? They're not here like last week. And you're like, you watch, right at 7 o'clock, bam, they're all going to come in. And every week, I still think, like, man, I guess this is the week they finally don't come back. And then at 7, like 20 people, 30 people just, boom, immediately, all at once, come in at the same time. It's insane.
Well, I thought you killed them off last week. It's an army, no doubt.
Well, we injured them. We didn't kill them last week. We injured them off, and this week we're healing them, and next week we'll give them a welcome back bash.
I like that. I like that a lot. Good.
There you go.
Good. On the fly, no doubt.
What I do?
Well, it was a good analogy.
That's what I do.
That is what you
Thank
do.
you.
Oh, I thought you said, what are you going to freestyle on us now, too?
Oh, that rhymes, huh?
Yeah, right.
I'm going to sing over the commercials again if you leave me unmuted.
Nah. I'm gonna give you guys something better. I've put you guys through enough shit. during the commercial breaks over the last few weeks. So we'll do something good tonight. Maybe a little, I don't know, Fleetwood Mac, maybe a little Beyonce or something. We got those
are the exact two songs you played on the last show I was on, which was the week before. Yeah, those are the exact two.
I could do Beyonce because she's in the news. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that one was atrocious, man. If I were a boy,
if I were a girl or a boy,
yeah,
whatever. Well, Taylor Swift, we could put her on Cold Black in the.
Doesn't she sing country though?
I don't think I have any Taylor Swift, to be honest with you.
I think she's a country singer. Don't do that to us, man. Fleetwood Mac and Beyonce's bad enough.
We'll see what we can find for the commercial break.
Kanye's in the news. Play some Kanye if you're going to play somebody controversial. Jesus.
I don't know. Unless you have Kanye, I'm using your old machine here. So unless you have,
I've got a million Kanye songs on there. You kidding?
All right, we'll see what we can do during the commercial break. Remind me when we get close. We got about 20 minutes. Time to go to the hourly break at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Let me do a quick plug here. WZROnline.com /chat to get to our live chat room. Lots and lots of people in there tonight. We'll do chat shout-outs as well. Unfortunately for you guests, we had to block you guys tonight from typing. We had a couple idiots in there during the pre-show, so I had to shut those off. But you can just refresh the chat room, and you can register. It just asks you for a username and a password. Bada bing, bada boom. 2 seconds later, you're set. You can come back on a weekly basis. You can enter that, and we'll do chat shout-outs on a weekly basis. We do it every week, and if you're registered, we'll hook you up here in hour number 2. Back to, the phone number to call is 724-444-7444. Call ID number 30273, followed by the pound key. Back to Breaking Point, Matty Boone. Yes. We had Kane defeated the Great Khali. Whatever. Right?
It was probably one of the worst matches on the show, but I wrote in my play-by-play, this is just my opinion, I said the crowd is chanting boring on the whole match and everything like that, but I said it's not really as bad as you would think. I mean, the last match they had at SummerSlam was way worse. They had the gimmick with the Canes this time because it was a Singapore Cane match, so all they had to do was just beat the hell out of each other. It was a little stupid when they started doing the old school sword fighting where you cha-cha.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus, are they really doing? Come on, man, what's happening to this? But, yeah, it was kept pretty short, and it wasn't too god-awful. It was definitely bad, but, yeah, what are you going to do?
Well, they love the big guys these days, you know, Kane, the Great Khali, the Big Show, you know
Henry,
what I mean? Henry, all prominently featured on pay-per-views and on Monday Night Raw. So.
Which means they don't like small people, like Hornswoggle every week on Raw. Come on, man.
I know. Well, whatever. You got me there. They like big people. They like small people. They don't like the
normal side. Yeah.
Right. What else? CM Punk interview backstage. This is interesting because he acknowledged the Jeff Hardy. Well, he didn't directly acknowledge it, but he said something along the lines of you can go on the internet and view his mugshot or something. Didn't say that he was.
He said you won't see my mugshot on TV like him, and he said that 3 weeks after he retired him, he's busted, and he was shooting pretty good, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, but he never directly said Jeff Hardy was arrested over the weekend, and
he didn't say. He said his name, and he said he's been in the news. I mean, he didn't come out. If you had no idea what's going on with Jeff Hardy, you might not know what he's talking about. You might just think it's storyline. But if you do know, then he said more than enough.
We had Christian defeated William Regal.
Yes.
What happened here? We had a kill switch by Christian, cover, pinfall.
It was actually a good match, but it wasn't a submission match, and they used more submissions in this match than any match on the show. So that didn't
seemed rushed. Seemed rushed at this point. You know what I mean? I don't know. It seemed
I can't believe Christian is still on ECW. I mean, champion or not, who gives it? He's on ECW. Christian on ECW. Still get him on Raw or SmackDown by now. My God.
I know you never watch ECW, but they have this guy